So Ryan, we woken up Thursday morning. Boks announced their team for the quarterfinal. Of course, it's the big rematch from 2015 against Japan. Not too many surprises with the team selection. Maybe one point or talking point that has been overlooked a bit is just for me the fact that Bongi Mbonambi's jumped ahead of Malcolm Marx. We can unpack that a little bit more. Lua Diaga's gone ahead of Franco Mostert, who's generally been the number 5 for quite some time, and then Beast ahead of Steven Kitchoff, who's obviously been a guy who's generally been favoured in that number 1 jersey. A heavy 6-2 forwards to back split on the bench. What have you made of that team selection?
Yeah, starting out with Mbonambi, I think that was that's kind of encouraging for me in so much, not because I rate Mbonambi as a better player than Marx, I don't. But it shows me that Rassie is going to live and die in his own terms, right? And more than that, it's a meritorious selection because Marx hasn't played to the standards we know he can in this tournament, and Rassie is looking at it without any emotion and going like, let's pick the other guy. Yeah. And so we discussed this before the Canada game, I think it was, or Italy game, I can't remember what. But we were saying, like, you know, Rassie is making it's kind of a wake-up call to Malcolm Marx, etc. But it's been more than that, and we can see that by the selection, Mbonambi selection for the quarterfinal now. And so I like that. I like that he's living and dying on his own terms, as opposed to picking somebody on reputation or previous form. The other changes, like I understand Beast ahead of Kitchoff. I just think that Kitchoff coming in that final quarter would make a real big impact there, not only his ball carrying ability, but we've seen him over the ball as well. That's over and above his primary kind of skill set in the scrums and set pieces. So yeah, it's that selection makes sense to me. Mostert, I mean, it's kind of neither here nor there. I think we lose nothing with that particular change. And yeah, I think the 6-2 split is right. Yeah. We're gonna pound them into submission. We're gonna speak a little bit about what I think this whole frenzy around Japan is and why I think it's stupid. Yeah. But yeah.
I think the point is the Boks are gonna just look to bruise them up front. I've just seen a clip from Rassie saying they're going to almost go 40 minutes each, Malcolm and Bongi. They want Bongi for the tighter exchanges early on, and then when the game opens up a bit, they're preferring Marx to play the last 35 minutes. But we can unpack, as you say, what Japan have been doing and just how the fanfare has gone around their attack. But first, just reflecting on their game against Scotland, which was obviously another big win for them, going through the pool phase unbeaten. And for me, it's just the one try that Scotland score early on here. I just think when the Boks do kick, this is exactly what they're going to be looking to do and exploit space deep in Japan territory. So when the Boks do kick, I think if they're around the halfway area, the kicks will be contestable. But when they do kick in this sort of area of the field, it's going to be looking to turn around the Japanese back three deep in their territory and then look to catch them in this sort of scenario and then say to them, you must play from deep or you must exit, because the Japanese don't have a big kicking game and they don't really like to kick. So I think that's kind of what the Boks will do. Their kicking strategy is going to be a very clever one, and I think we'll see that coming to the fore on Sunday. So we can maybe just let this play through until we get to the Japanese tries, because they score 4 in a row now against Scotland. But in terms of the kicking game, how important do you think that will be? Because it looks like it'll be muggy conditions. We've seen handling being a problem, so the contestable kicking I think will be huge.
Yeah, but like you take a step back from there, and this relates to the 6-2 split that they've gone with in terms of this particular squad. So you earn the right to play that way, right? By sucking in defenders through multiple phases, and then you deplete them out wide and creates a kind of a numbers advantage for you on the outside. So it's key that we take a step back and go like, we're just going to pound them into submission and look to exploit them in that way. You spoke about box kicks and perhaps kicks that turn around the back three. Definitely, but it rests on our forwards, one, giving them a platform to do that, and then creating a numbers advantage by sucking defenders.
Yeah, I mean, the Boks did this well in the game against the All Blacks at Loftus last year, where they just turned them around and said, if you're gonna exit, then you must do so from deep, and it really worked extremely well.
Right.
But I think this is actually just the missed penalty. But you can see Japan there again. They took the ball through 6 phases, and it's something that they've really been doing well. It's just being able to keep that high-paced attack going. You can see again they use these little pods where they have options with their forwards to carry all the pass out the back to get it out wide. In an example like this, and then they've got incredible wingers. Matsushima, who scores here, and Fukuoka on the other wing. So 2 really exceptional wingers.
Yeah, we've seen that has been kind of the cornerstone of the success, right? Is the ability of the strike runners to break the gain line, and to make sure that the recycle is quick, and so to exploit the unset defensive line, like we saw there. The decision making at key times, you'll see when to go wide there, critical, and then there's a little bit of magic at the end with that miraculous pass. That it's ridiculous.
I mean, it's something that a lot of the pundits have been pointing out about Japan. It's just how much they've improved with their handling, and we see it in all the tries here and their offloading. So they've become a team that's not just got the ability, but they also have improved their execution and just those slightly more refined skills, such as the handling, and often in difficult conditions where the ball's a little bit slippery, which is a testament to what they can do on attack.
And their patience, right? Like the patience to build through those phases, to know when to try and exploit the numbers advantage out wide, and when to keep it tight. It's a hallmark of a really good, well-coached team.
Yeah.
And so I think critical for us is to put them under pressure, because we were discussing off camera that's what happened to Ireland. They felt the pressure and they went away from the conventional game plan.
Yeah.
And Japan were able to exploit opportunities that kind of more broken, disjointed attack created. And that's what we've got to do. We've got to we've got to exert that pressure on Japan.
Yeah.
So they go away from this.
Yeah.
And then I think that's where we'll look to capitalize.
Yeah. I mean, Jacques Nienambe pointed it out this morning about the fact that they use the 2 wingers almost on the same wing. So sometimes the 14 will come over to the left wing and vice versa. So they have those 2 wingers as danger men, and they're not afraid to come off their wing. It does leave opportunity to exploit the other wing when they've gone off that side.
Right.
But that's really what they do. And here's probably one of the tries of the tournament.
Yeah.
Just look at the offloading phase 12
as well. Yeah.
Phase 12 when they go over and score an exceptional try.
Right.
So that's what I think they're going to do against the Boks. Look to do. They're going to look to keep the ball alive.
Right.
Their ball in play time is something like 50 minutes, probably the highest of any team in the tournament. High paced. Little short passes, so they're not throwing Hail Marys in difficult conditions. They just keep it tight. They use the inside pass when they need to. This is what Japan are all about, just that kind of very alive, energetic sort of play, and they look to fracture the defense with that sort of non-stop offloading.
Part of the reason I think the Boks will negate that threat is because they haven't really come up against a side as physical at the gain line as the Boks are.
Yeah.
And so that's going to have a dramatic impact on their ability to recycle quickly, to play the game at the tempo that they want to. And so, coming up against somebody from like a back row from Scotland versus Peter Steph Tutoy in a tackle is night and day difference. And I use Peter Steph as an example, but there are numerous others: Dwayne, Sia, Mostert, Etzebeth.
Yeah.
So the gain line is going to be where the Boks would look to control, would take control of the game specifically. And that's for me is at the heart of why I don't think Japan will be as dangerous against the Boks as they were against some of the other opponents.
So I like this example as well. It just shows, how far Japan have come with their sort of organization. So they use this a lot. It's quite a common sort of thing you see, but just with the various pods, you've got a whole group of players here offering different options. So they've got the option to keep it close and tight and carry, or they can go out wide. And here again you see the handling. So you can see the Scotland defense is a little bit uncertain here, and you can see them getting a bit caught up, and they try and backtrack to cover it. But again, just the kind of magic of their little winger on that left wing.
Yeah, for me a test nation shouldn't be, a test nation of like Scotland's caliber and history and reputation shouldn't be conceding a try like that. That's for me is like a simple try. So the difference between the Boks there is that, I mean, they're pressing you from the outside in. So to create opportunities like that, there's got to be a fundamental breakdown in defensive execution communication.
So here you can see it quite nicely. So I mean, they do have the overlap, but I mean the execution both with the kick and being able to exploit that space is it's pinpoint.
Yeah, this is also like that's like 2 phases into the move.
Yeah.
Like how do you, like a test side shouldn't be conceding, like a test side with his salt shouldn't be conceding tries like that. But I mean, credit to Japan, you can only play what's in front of you, right? And the ability to take advantage of defensive lapses like that has been excellent, maybe second to none in the tournament.
Yeah.
But I still back the Boks to pressure them from the outside, but even before that, for especially the loose forwards to give them headaches.
Yeah.
Literally.
Before we get to their fourth and bonus point try, we can just let it play for a bit, but we were chatting off air, Ryan, and you were saying while people think it might be a close game, you're not of that opinion. You think the Boks are going to run away with this one?
Yeah, I do. I'm quite baffled by like this frenzy around Japan, to be quite honest.
I think it's just like we saw the crowd as maybe their 16th player or the 24th player. When I think that's a factor, you know, how much the crowd is inspiring them.
No question. That's like the atmosphere at the Japan games has been incredible. And so that's definitely been a factor. But yeah, I just think the Boks are better in every facet of the game than Japan are. The only way the Boks lose this is if they panic and they go away from what like the formula that's been so successful for them, like a focus on set piece dominance and dominating teams physically. And if the kicking game goes awry, we've seen the danger of the back three of Japan. They can punish you in situations like that.
Yeah.
But I think, like all things being equal, South Africa are 25 points better than Japan, and I think that will be the margin that they'll win by.
Yeah, I mean, I'm of the opinion as well that the emotion and the energy they've expended to go through the pool phase unbeaten. They're taking down Scotland and Ireland. Those were incredible results. I just think they've got to the end of that road now.
Right.
We can look at this try. I agree with you. I think my margin would be a little bit more conservative, but I think 15 to 20 points, it shouldn't be any different. It should be a very comfortable win for the Boks.
For me, it's a travesty if they lose to Japan. Like this team losing to Japan is a travesty. It's like a national disaster.
Yeah, I mean, it was in 2015. It would be less so, but it would be, it would still be a tragic.
I think it's the same because this team is better than the team in 2015.
Yeah. Here, I just think if we're looking at this is when Scotland are on attack, and when the Boks have opportunities, they have to convert, because here it's actually Scotland have a great opportunity. We'll see them play through the phases a bit, and they have an opportunity here to kind of get back into the game. But it's actually Japan who apply pressure through their defence, which is quite remarkable. So here you see they actually have the numbers and the space to work with.
Right.
But the Japan flat and aggressive defence prevents it, and then just a magic little moment there, and away Japan go on the counter attack.
Yeah, that's the danger. We spoke about that Scotland attack was pretty unstructured, pretty loose. They were chasing the game at that point. That's what we want Japan to feel, right?
Yeah.
And so the pressure told on Scotland there, and that's when you start to do things that are kind of outside of your wheelhouse of skills. And Japan are going to punish you in the Boks if they do that. So composure, kind of riding out that initial shock from the crowd and the noise and the atmosphere, because I think Japan will be good for 40 minutes, maybe even 60 minutes, but thereafter it's a done deal, man. Like if we maintain our composure, we stick to our game plan, we don't get kind of frazzled by everything that's happening around us, there's no price on Japan.
Yeah, I think, Ryan, we can more or less wrap there. For me, it's quite simple. The Boks need to kick accurately and intelligently.
Yeah.
So it's about when they doing the obviously the box kicks and the contestable kicking, it needs to be in the right areas of the field, and when they're not making contestable, it needs to be turning the Japanese back three around in their own territory. And then, like we say, it's just keeping it tight, using the traditional strengths of that forward pack to bruise them, to keep them out of the game in that first half, negate the crowd factor, and then I think it should be a very easy.
Yeah, and over like that's important, but also the physical dominance. Just bore them into submission, man. Like there's no need to win this game in playing spectacular, expansive rugby. There'll be opportunities for that if you earn the right to play that way. But just dominance at the set phases, dominance on the gain line, attack and defense is critical for us. And then it'll lay the platform for all of those things that you're speaking about. Kicking will be like paramount to our success. And particularly our back three contesting in the air and creating opportunities then to either contest the breakdown if they catch it, where they're turning the Japanese defensive line, or kicking into the spaces that you mentioned, and then asking those wingers like, okay, like, are you brave enough to run this ball back, or are you going to kick it back and then create opportunities for us?
For sure. Cool. Well, it's going to be a cracking weekend. Hopefully Eskom plays his part and we have no load shedding during the game.
And I told him my breath, man.